We have experienced a marginal decline of about 3% overall in our cement sales if I combine our northern and the eastern operations. So that fall was it's actually fall is about 3%. And this is on the backdrop of a fall of about 7% that we have seen in the areas that we operate in the north and the east, because there we operate especially in Chhattisgarh and Odisha also got affected because of the Fani cyclone. So as a result, our volumes suffered. In terms of the EBITDA numbers, there is a distinct improvement. On a combined, if I combine my north and east operation, we have clocked a number of about 750, almost 750 rupees per ton.
All right, sir. Sir, I'd like to understand from you, in this quarter, have we seen the complete benefit of petcoke prices, or are we yet to see that benefit coming in, or in the next quarter, in the second half of the financial year?
No, I think we have seen the gain of the petcoke fall in the prices. Maybe there will be a marginal advantage in the next quarter compared to this quarter, but most of the gains have already been accrued. So, and we are not expecting any major fall in this in the price of the petcoke here onwards. So whatever gain we'll get in terms of fuel prices fuel cost would be in terms of our improved efficiencies.
In that case, the cost optimization measures, what kind of optimization can we look at, or the benefit in cost per ton in the next quarter in that case?
I think the major improvement would come because of the volume. The last quarter, the volume had taken, as I just now showed you, is a 3% fall. But I think the major, but that does not really tell the true story. In this quarter, we had the extended monsoon. September also continued. So I think, and if I look at Pan India, how the construction is moving, the infrastructure, which has been the mainstay for demand growth of cement in last year and a half, it took a beating because even the road construction, there was a bit of a slowdown. If I were to see that against a target of about 11,000 kilometers, which the ministry had announced in the beginning of the year, what they have done so far in 7 months is only about 2,800 and odd. So I think they have a lot of ground to cover in the remaining months, and I see no reason why they will not. So if that happens, then almost 70% of the demand on this particular sector will accrue in the next 5 months. Besides also the fact that because of the expected growth in the rural economy, consequent to good monsoons all over the country, I would expect that would fuel the growth in the rural market, and that should augur well, because we are very, very well entrenched in the rural markets wherever we operate. So I think I am looking at quite buoyancy in the demand growth in the next 5 months. So once that happens, my cost also comes down, especially the fixed cost.
Please go ahead, sir. So what's the benefit that we can expect for the next quarter?
I was saying that we have operated in this particular quarter, if I look at my combined operation, we have operated at about 68% capacity utilization. And going forward, I would certainly expect that will be around 75%. And if that happens, then I would expect a reduction in our overall cost on just the fixed cost number basis. I think I'll see a drop in my cost of production by about 100 rupees a ton. So that should overall increase my EBITDA to at least to that extent if there's no change in the price. But I would expect that there could be some correction in the price, some upward correction in the price, if that sort of a demand that I'm talking about actually comes through. Because in the first 6 months, the cement sector has actually seen a decline. So if this sector has to grow by even 5 to 6% in the year as a whole, then I think we must record at least a 8 to 9% growth in the remaining 5 months. And if that happens, then I can expect some price correction as well. So I'm quite hopeful that the EBITDA numbers should look more positive in the third and the fourth quarter.
Point well taken. I was just going to get on to that. Although I do understand that even at this level, your EBITDA per ton performance is at multi-quarter high. But then few of the analysts around the street have concerns with regards to your future profitability, given the kind of capacity constraint as a whole that the company is facing. I'd like to understand, in this Q2, has the company commissioned the said project in Odisha, and what kind of further capacity would the company like to add here on?
You see, we have commissioned our cutter grinding unit, which is of about 0.6 million ton. That takes JK Lakshmi Cement's capacity to about 11.7, and on a consolidated basis, the company is taking into account the subsidiary capacity of 1.6 million ton. We are very close to now 13.5 million ton capacity on a console basis. Going forward, yes, we had this shortage, not had this demand slowdown not been there, then we would have certainly felt the pinch of inadequate capacity. And I think there is now a need for us to grow further, which we had actually stalled because the prices were not very conducive in the whole of the last year. We saw some improvement, but some improvements are yet to come. But then, irrespective of that, we have already drawn our plans for further growth, and I think in a quarter or two, we should be in a position to talk about our future expansion plans, which are likely to happen shortly.
Sure. And how about your debt position right now? How much does that number stand, and how much do you intend to repay your loan in this year?
Well, we are repaying close to 200 to 250 crore rupees a year. So currently our gross debt will be about 1800 plus about 1800 crores, and every year we are decreasing them by about 200 and 250 crore rupees. Our debt equity currently stands is quite healthy at about 0.9 to 1. And on a gross basis, if I see the net basis, then it's just about 0.77. So I think we are fairly well leveraged, fairly well in a position to take up any expansion plan right now.
Mr. Chouksey, final question that I have for you, both in your key operating regions, that is North and East. How are you seeing the demand panning out, since you've already said that you expect some correction to come in, where the correction is more prominent, and which is the month where we can see the correction, and by how much?
I think I would expect now the corrections to take place now. So I think the November month would be would actually be a test month. That the slowdown that we experienced in the last 7 months were only seasonal. First, because of the election in the first quarter. Second, because of the extended monsoon and the Feni. But I think this quarter, third and Q3, Q4, which normally are good, the second half normally gives the industry almost 60% of the volume, and the first half is only 40% of the volume. That has been the trend the earlier years. So if that were to come true, I would expect a demand to pan out now from this month itself. So I think the normally with the completion of Chhat Puja, which will be getting completed tomorrow, the labor starts coming back for the construction, and that should now see a pickup. So I think from Monday onwards itself, we should see a good traction in the demand. That has been the trend in the past, and I don't expect anything different this year.